but also come, of course, at a particular historical moment where it's clear that democracies both here and abroad are in deep trouble, that it takes so much vigilance and unbelievable vitality and vibrancy to keep democracies alive. They're very fragile social experiments. And if citizens don't awaken, come together, organize, mobilize with integrity and vision and courage, that you end up losing your democracy. And so we're here very much to support the Kentucky Alliance Against Racism and Political Repression. My very, very dear sister Ann Braden, who I have not just respect for, but a deep love for. When I encountered her in September, maybe 400 of us were arrested in September protesting against the war in Iraq, the U.S. invasion.
And could you comment on that?
I appreciate the question, no, brother. Now, one thing to keep in mind, though, that the book that you referred to, Race Matters, that's 1993, though, brother.
Okay.
Yes, I've written 17. That was my 9th book, so we've had 8 since then.
Uh-huh.
But Democracy Matters is a more recent text. But the text you're referring to, Race Matters, I appreciate the question. There's no doubt that the criminal justice system is a deeply racist system. We just have to be very honest about it. We've got roughly the same percentage of black folk who use drugs as in the black community, is roughly the same as in the white community. It's 62% of the people who are convicted are black and poor, are working poor. So again, you have an issue of class and race as to who is convicted, meaning what? Meaning that there's a targeting taking place. You see? If, for example, police were to target the drug taking on the east side of Louisville as much as they do the west side of Louisville, the jails would be more colorful. They really would. Because white brothers and sisters also often like to fly high in the friendly skies, just like some black brothers and sisters do.
Uh-huh.
The drug addiction is racially promiscuous. It cuts across racial lines. It'll lie with anybody. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Then why is it so that when it comes to those who line up for convictions, you end up primarily white poor, you end up primarily, black poor and black working class. So there's a racial tilt in terms of who is targeted when it comes to war against drugs.
It's the paper with dead presidents' pictures on it. You know, it's like, life is supposed to be more than that, you see. And you're right, that's why we're born here. You know, people like Jesus is right. He said, look at the kids, they'll show you what life's all about. In January 1776, Thomas Paine published his essay, Common Sense. 3 out of 4 of the adults in the American colonies read the essay, and it changed their thinking from being citizens of a colony to becoming citizens of a constitutional nation. Common Sense, too, explores the opportunities of creating a constitutional global nation. It is advantages of world citizenship. It is based on 2 simple ideas. The first is that there are times in history when new information is discovered that is so powerful that it changes reality itself. first reality was as hunters and gatherers. That lasted until we learned how to grow food and tame animals. At that point, the reality of the Stone Age ended. The new reality began, the age of agriculture. Then people learned to make machines that ended the age of agriculture and began our present reality, the age of industrialism. Einstein launched an information explosion unheard of in the history of the world. Over half of the information now in existence was discovered since 1950. This brings us to the second idea of Common Sense 2. History has put us into one of those historical times when one reality system ends and another is born. Our present industrial reality is ending, either by the death of our planet or by being transformed into a newer, more dynamic reality. A reality that ends hunger, poverty, pollution, and war forever. A reality that puts more money in our pockets and more paid holidays on our calendars. This information has given us a new vision of ourselves. Seeing our planet as it really is, there are clearly no lines on it showing different countries. We do not live in countries. They live in us as outdated political thinking. But we, as a planet, spend $1 trillion a year on guns in defense of these imaginary pieces of our planet. And this, where 12 to 15 million people a year, mostly children, die of hunger, and the rest of us struggle to pay our bills. Buckminster Fuller, the Leonardo da Vinci of our time, discovered the difference between the developed and the underdeveloped parts of our planet is the availability of electricity. This is the most accurate map of the world ever made. Fuller created it to see how we might produce more electricity and use it to make life better for us all, to everyone on our planet, and unites now remote sources of renewable energy into one planetary transmission system.
Focusing on peace, respect, social responsibility. We take great pride in the fact that Muhammad Ali is a native son of our hometown, and we are very excited that Lonnie and Muhammad committed along with so many of our local folks to make this facility a reality. You know, the champ has been at the crossroads of some of the most provocative issues of our time. The battle for true racial equality, personal choices during the war in Vietnam, religious tolerance and diversity and appreciation for both, and the quest for peace around the world. His words and his deeds have made the champ one of the most recognized people in the entire world. I'm not sure I realized that until I visited Cairo one time, Lonnie. I was in 1980, and I was at a mosque as a tourist. And two 13, 14, 15-year-old young boys came up to me and in broken English said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Louisville, Kentucky." And they said, "Louisville, Kentucky." I said, Muhammad Ali. And the kids went, "Oh, Muhammad Ali. And all of a sudden it dawned on me how one of our own here from this community had that kind of international respect.
To what we are going to, in a few minutes, share with you. But to have this opportunity to have interface with the real two founders of this institution, in Lonnie and Muhammad Ali. In my introduction to Lonnie, I share with you the fact that Lonnie, in my opinion, is absolutely the epitome of a spouse in terms of her every hour, every day, providing Muhammad with such loving care, interest, support, encouragement, anything for which we could, any of us, hope for in a spouse. Muhammad is most lucky to have Lonnie being his wife of 19 years tomorrow. Coincidentally, November 19th, So I think what I'll do hereafter, if people query me and say, well, why did you open up the center when you still have 2 handprints up here? I will say because we wanted to time it for it to be on Lonnie Muhammad's 19th wedding anniversary on November 19th. I think that